What's happening? What's happening? This is the Sport Counterpoints podcast. I'm GB. I got Coop and Brian. What's happening, guys?
What's
going
up?
on?
We back, man. It's November 9th, 2023. Another show. Always good catching up with you boys, man. Always a pleasure. So today we talking NBA a little bit. We'll check in real quick. Same thing with the NHL. You'll understand why shortly.
Yeah.
Why me and Coop are both wearing these. Take off that silly ass hat. NCAA football, and then we'll talk about the NFL. So starting with the NBA, man, in-season tourneys going on. It's the most exciting thing in basketball, man. This is crazy. How y'all feeling about it, man? I know y'all just glued to your television.
I'm gonna be quick with mine. I only watched it because I was at a wedding this past weekend in the San Diego area, and it was blinding my eyes. I looked at, I think, the Bulls court, and it was all bright red. I had to order another drink because I just couldn't look at that court. You know what I'm saying? It looked like Eastern Washington's football field. It was just bright red, like they call it the Inferno. And then people were relating it to Oklahoma City's, I think, court to Boise State's blue turf field. Yeah, it was just like, I don't know. It's just ridiculous. Again, the NBA is doing this to try to get eyeballs to the TV set so they could try to get their new TV deal at the end of the year. I don't think the in-season tournament is enough to get me to a television set. The only reason I watched because I was in a bar and it was on. But Brian, I'm interested in hearing your thoughts about it. You probably watch more than I have.
Yeah, well, I watched a decent amount, but that's only because it was basketball and it was on TV. And the way that they do this thing, and again, we were talking about it last week, is that it's basically just regular games that have a dual meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But these courts, man, the Smurf turf has nothing on these neon, what do they used to call them when they used to have the color rush jerseys, these color rush jerseys. And of course, one of the main reasons is whenever they can, they put a new jersey in the mix because diehard fans buy one of all of them. And so there's revenue to be made in that. The TV deals are locked in, so you don't have to worry about whether or not people actually watch the TV or not watch the TV. Those things are locked. Their viewership is stable. But man, I mean, these jerseys and these courts are a little too much. Usually they're kind of some type of parquet wood type floor with color on it, but now it is it looks like a flood of blood on some of these basketball courts.
It's bad. I mean, even the key, it's just that the whole key is not colored, just part of it's colored, and it's going straight down the middle like a skinny rectangle. I don't get the design.
And they have these big, huge designs in the middle.
It's like whoever did that should be fired, but because it does not look good.
It was funny. So they asked KD, they showed him a court and said, hey, whose court is this? And said, man, who the hell did this court? Like, it's crazy. And then someone whispered in his ear, that's our court. And he's like, this is cool. And it was, you caught the double take on the clip of the interview or whatever.
That's funny.
I will say, like, the games themselves have actually been kind of good. I don't know that it ties into the NC tournament. It's just the matchups happen to be good. That Warriors game, I want to say they
played the Thunder, I think it was.
The Thunder barely lost.
That was a good game.
That was a good game. The Bulls game was good. Like the actual games, I think the Kings are playing right now actually on their court. And I was just seeing some stuff earlier. So it's it's just a twist on the same old thing, right? There's so many games. You try and add some kind of intrigue, but
I don't think they up-leveled it though, like they do for playoffs. Like this is not a playoff mentality, right? It's just because even though it's a tournament. But what I do think that they've accomplished, like you just said, is getting a little intrigue around it because it has dual meaning, right? How are they doing in the in-season tournament, and how are they doing on the season? I don't know if we're going to talk much about the Lakers, but they are doing poorly in both.
Well, you got to win games, and either way
on the road, right? They're 0-4 on the road. It's a bad way.
Well, I don't even think those games have counted for much of those have counted for in-season tournament though, because we don't have really any record yet.
No, we lost the in-season tournament games though, and we've lost it doesn't matter. We have not.
We just lost. We just been losing.
Yeah, they look terrible.
Touchdown Bears. Bears
they
scored.
Terrible against Houston. That was
a drubbing.
Really bad.
Well, that was coming off a back-to-back to Orlando. I think AD didn't play that game, and then it was just all bad.
It looked bad, bro. Like I didn't watch the game. I just saw the scores. It did not look good. Man, we got
Houston's not good. So.
But it went over 221
tomorrow.
It was 222. So I'm happy.
Hey, hit them numbers. Well, it was mainly because of Houston, but then they put up like 130 or something, 128.
122.
Something crazy.
They averaged 106 and put up 122.
Word. So yeah, that's kind of where that is. I mean, I don't know if y'all got anything else in basketball. I said I'm more excited about the season. I am in general, but I haven't actually been watching because I work and be doing other stuff. So kind of how that goes.
Nothing to say.
All right. So real quick, sliding from that, let's go to hockey real quick.
Yeah, real quick. Let's go real quick.
Reason we're talking hockey is because Coop and I went to the game Tuesday. Today's Thursday. So that's why I'm wearing a Sharks hat. Coop was wearing a Flyers hat. It was Sharks versus Flyers. Apparently, when I go to games for my teams that are not losing, they can win at least that one. I don't know what else happens, and I'll be watching. Same thing happened with the A's games I went to. Sharks won. No one was in the crowd. It was crazy.
One win. That's you saw their only win of the season.
Yeah. So just a little bit of background, everybody. Philadelphia Flyers, I think, were 5-5 coming in. The Sharks were winless. They were 0-10-1, I believe, coming into this game. They have not won a game all season. So I was very confident to come in there with my Philadelphia Flyers hoodie. Philadelphia Flyer. I was gonna get put on the socks too, but I didn't. I figured the hat and hoodie was fine.
It was.
We sat in that boring game. Me and Glenn, I think we're in the 9th row or something. We were real close to the ice, and
seats,
we had really good seats. And it was 1-0, 2-0, and then 2-1, and we ended up losing 2-1. I think we had the whole row to ourselves too. Actually, a lot of people had their own rows to themselves at that game.
I saw the picture, and you guys were 2 seats apart. you guys had to reach to do daps.
Oh, no lie, it was nice. Like the one thing though, like concession lines weren't long.
Yeah,
we ordered some food to the seats. It came in seconds.
Yeah,
there was no one in there, so it was crazy. I mean, it was a Tuesday night. During the week, you know, I mean, I'll give you that, I guess, but yeah, it was not.
It was fun times because I'm with Glenn. Now, like when I'm with you guys, it don't matter what we do, we're gonna have fun times regardless. But every time me and Glenn have went to this game, the Philadelphia Flyers only come out here once a year to play the San Jose Sharks, and every time we went, they have lost. The Flyers have lost. The Sharks have won. I haven't seen them win a game yet, so we'll see next year.
I'm hoping your luck continues because I'm going to the Kings game on Saturday
against the Flyers.
Against the Flyers.
Okay, yep. They play Anaheim, I believe, tomorrow or today, and then they play the Kings. Yep.
That's what we need to do. We need to go in LA.
Real talk. They might have a chance to win.
That's what we need to do. Yeah.
Kings are playing pretty well this year.
Yeah, they are
too.
They are. Yep.
Yeah. So that was cool. A little bit of hockey because we were involved. Man, it was a fun time at the game. So shout out to my cousin and happy birthday, Coop.
Oh, good looking.
Most definitely, man. Much respect. So from there to the NCAA for football, y'all, man, run it down. What y'all feeling about this last week?
Yeah, B, what you feeling?
The pain of being a USC fan when they went from ranked in the top 10 to unranked over the last 4 weeks.
Crazy.
Anyways, but I don't know how you can look at it in good news when you've just lost a very important season with Caleb Williams probably in his last year. But they finally fired the defensive coordinator. But this was something they should needed to do in the before the season started. It initially got done. At least it got done, but the damage is done. Right, the USC's unranked. They have no hope for the playoffs. They have no hope for a Pac-12 championship in the last year that the Pac-12 is a real conference. They've wasted the likely last year of Caleb Williams' college career. Everything is bad. So it's still hard to look at Grinch getting fired when he did as a positive because of, what it ultimately means. And now I'm put in an awkward situation when they play teams. They already lost to Washington, but when they play at Oregon, who's ranked 6th, and I really want to see a Pac-12 team in a playoff because it never happens. And it won't happen anytime in the near future. Am I rooting for Oregon this week? It's, interesting question.
Yeah.
There's 6.
Win it, yeah.
Because otherwise it's unlikely that Oregon or Washington make it into the playoffs if obviously they lose to USC. Anyways, it's earmarked for a horrible season gone awry.
Yeah, I've been on this for 2 years about USC's defense. They don't even pass the eye test. I don't think this guy even knows how to recruit an elite defensive player. I honestly believe though, Brian,
talent, man.
Yeah, I really, really believe if this was Oklahoma, he would have never got fired because that's just business as usual in the Big 12, giving up 40 points. But USC, it's a high-profile program. There are more eyeballs. You're in LA. You're going to get scrutinized more by not just fans but by media as well. And it's about time that they did it. For 2 seasons, like I said, it's just been bad. The last 6 games, they've given up 265 points, where you got a team like Iowa that's given up only 284 the past 2 seasons. But of course, it's in Iowa. This is USC. And when you have an unlimited budget, you have an elite college quarterback, and the team is just soft like this, it's just completely unacceptable. You got to get rid of that guy. And I don't know who they're going to get. That's going to come in and kind of fix that defense. But Caleb is going to be gone, and I doubt that the next quarterback you have will be as good as him. So we'll see. See what happens with USC in the future.
I don't think I was just saying, I don't think it's the talent, though. I think they have plenty of talent. I think it's the scheme. And there were some people doing some kind of analysis, and I was paying attention, and he was running the same scheme, which always is boom or bust. They get sacks, they get tackles for loss, or they give up tons and tons of yards, which is exactly what those teams did in Oklahoma. It's exactly what those teams have done at USC. But they have talent. They have people who can make plays. So it'll be interesting because if they fired the defensive coordinator, but whoever is the interim isn't changing the scheme, that's foolish, right? I mean, you know that's a failing strategy if you double down on it at this point in the season.
So you think it's scheme, and I think it's players, because when I look at that
the
team,
players are talented.
When I look at that team, they don't look talented. When I look at an elite defense, when I look at an old USC, like I look at USC, like I don't know, videos or the old defense, that team is fast, it's physical, it's relentless, they're big and strong. This team defense is none of it. I don't see how they're still on par.
I disagree with that. I watch them a lot. There's a lot of talent on that team, but you have, if your coach is calling, zone when you should be able to play press and actually get up in somebody, you can't be physical because you're not allowed to be physical in that scheme. If you're going to, not put pressure on third downs and run 3, but still aren't going to put press coverage, you have to be able to put people in positions to give them an opportunity to make plays. And the only plays that the only place that these players got was the wrong place. But look, obviously they have not performed. So they all get that on their resume, right?
Yep.
There's these college players from last year and this year who are going to say that they played for USC during these years. These defensive players are not going to want to brag about 256 points in 4 games, losing to Washington, probably losing to Oregon, losing to every ranked team that they basically played except for Colorado at that point in time. But I do think there's some talent.
Yeah, I don't look at scheme, so I'll defer to you on that. But I will be talking about scheme later when it comes to my team. So I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, you got any thoughts on this, Glenn?
Nah, I mean, I don't really watch college ball. When you say your team, you mean Miami?
No.
Oh, we ain't talking about them?
No, we ain't talking about them.
I saw they lost.
And real quickly, Colorado keeps losing.
Those
people who wanted to tell me I was being too hard and I was hard on them. They were 4-0. Now they're 4-5.
Yeah, certain people told me. I told them they're not gonna win more than 5 games this year. They're still stuck at 4. Only got a few more to go.
He's gonna have to get some classes in. It's gonna take a little while to turn around. You guys got who else did anything? Anything else that's interesting?
Miami ain't worth talking about.
Yeah, Oregon smacked up Cal though.
It's just C now.
What you mean? No, USC is in a better boat. Okay, we on the Titanic.
7-3, 6-3. What's the difference,
man? How you got your 7-3 and how we got our 6-3 is 2 totally different spectrums. Totally different. Okay, well, you guys are putting up 40 and losing. We putting up 6. Okay, I don't want to hear that. Yeah, it's different. The record, you are what your record says you are, but you could be a different. If USC played Miami in a bowl game, USC will win by about 20. Easily.
You know what bowl game I want to see? USC versus North Carolina.
Oh yeah, my boy Drake May. I would love that. Oh yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Put it together. Both those teams, with North Carolina's 24, USC is unranked currently. They'll, whatever.
That would be a good one. I would
love bowl eligible. Right? Yeah, and I don't care if they put them in the Cheetos Bowl in Oklahoma or Arkansas or wherever. People would watch that game.
Right. of the lower tiered bowls, that will be the most watched game probably
by
in
far.
history.
And you might
Yeah.
actually get. So typically, when you are playing in these garbage bowls that are not playoff health, the draftable stars do not play.
Right.
I bet you if you put North
guaranteed.
Carolina versus USC, Drake May and Caleb Williams.
Because they want to try to go number one. Oh yeah.
They both want to try and go number one.
Definitely.
That'd
be great.
I'd watch that too, for sure.
Yeah.
Word up. Anything else, man? What's up with Harbaugh?
What do you mean? He can be your coach.
Man. I was saying it, but I gotta say
I think that's the silent part said loudly. So when all this investigation started, whether depending on who you ask or what you believe, they pulled a contract offer that would have made him amongst the highest paid college coaches, and have not put it back on the table according to depending on what you read.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to go if they suspend him, which there's some talk that he might get suspended for the rest of the season. And they want to keep him bowl eligible. But if they suspend him for any period of time, his name with the NCAA is mud. Yeah. But it's absolutely going to be one of the bigger names talked about in the NFL.
Just pull a Pete Carroll. As soon as USC is about to go crumbling, you just head to the NFL, because what happens in the NCAA has no bearing on your status in the NFL. It means nothing.
Yeah.
Carroll's had a wonderful career. Yep. The only people who really remember Pete Carroll's SC time are people on the West Coast who saw or watched SC.
Right.
Yeah, that was crazy.
The same thing goes for Michigan. If Harbaugh goes back and after his time in San Francisco and again in his future time in Las Vegas, I seriously doubt that people will remember the, in air quotes, transgressions. I will say I think all of that stuff is BS.
Me too.
If you see, every single player who has been asked about it said sign stealing is called reading defenses and game planning for defenses. Everyone needs to chill out. Like it is ridiculous that this is as big as it is, and I think it's because Harbaugh is Harbaugh. He definitely plays in the gray areas. But this is just silly to me.
And he has an undefeated team, and they're not going to have, if they go undefeated in that last game against Ohio State, ain't no way in hell they're going to suspend him for that game. No way. Okay. I can't see it. That's going to be the biggest game for the Big Ten all season. All eyes are going to be on them. They can't have Harbaugh.
It'll be just as big if he's on the sideline, but the NCAA hype machine will get a lot of press out of it.
Yeah, and they could tell a different story too, make it big because of the.
But
issue.
Michigan looks really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Right. And they may even be able to overcome it, but. Number what is it? 3 Michigan versus 1 Ohio State.
Yeah, you can't.
That would be huge.
It's significant. Yeah, you can't have him not coach that game.
He's the national championship before a national championship.
Yeah, NCAA wants those numbers. He got to be there.
Crazy. Okay.
And plus, we all don't like the NCAA. They're full of you know what anyway. So.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Anything else?
No, I'm good.
Let's slide to the league, man. Another week. We could start anywhere. I mean,
my team didn't play. I'm gonna go last. I want y'all to go first.
Bye.
I got some stuff to say about my team for all you Niner fans and haters. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, that's
not you guys. Not you guys. I'm just saying. I'm just saying in general. Yeah.
That's everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everybody's in them groups. Okay. We can start. I'll start with the Raiders, man. I was excited to see some energy on the team. I like what we're seeing. I mean, it just looks like a different team. I think the funniest thing to me is
30.7 would suggest it.
Quick, man, pick interceptions, scoring plays, long pass. Josh Jacobs got 100 yards. It went under 100 at the last play when he lost a couple yards. Instead of he was right there, 2 touchdowns. Devontae didn't have a bunch of production, but I was kind of watching him during plays, celebrating for the guys, excited to see the plays. It was just a different team. Funniest thing to me is this whole, I know they're professionals, so everybody's respect to Josh, man. He showed us a lot, and we're not celebrating because he's gone. This is really just a different energy and a thing. Immediately cut to the happiest people ever on earth talking about how great this is.
Right.
In this new, it's just funny. We love Josh, man. We hate to see him gone. But yeah, we just gonna turn up relentlessly, smoke cigars in the thing, music on. We couldn't, they didn't really do music at practice the last couple of years. So we brought that back. We brought this back. It's been cool, man. Antonio Pierce has been just the energy's cool. I don't know if he has a chance to actually win the job or not. You
They
know,
said he does.
I
Yeah, they
think
said it's an audition, but we'll talk about that, I guess.
if you're Mark Davis and have looked at the last few cycles, it would make sense to give it a real look based on how your team performs and the energy around your team. However, you still, to me, have to look at decisions from coaching, right? Energy is great. Getting guys motivated is awesome. What happens to kind of, and I thought about this with Pasaccia too. I didn't get to see it, but you're going to have some coaching decisions. Do you challenge the play? Do you call the timeout? Do you kick it or do you go for it? That kind of stuff is what you got to kind of judge a coach off of. But from an intern perspective, one of my favorites, man. He's pulling up in 6'3" Impalas to the stadium and to the practice when he drives, and that's what he drives. Super West Coast. All my friends, you guys know this guy, so it's funny. All my friends who from college have texted me and say, "When did Brandon start coaching the Raiders?"
That's hella funny.
He looks, shout out to my brother. He looks exactly like one of my homeboys
That's
from LA.
funny.
Same energy. So it's been cool just to get that breath of fresh air, man. See some points scored, see Renfro get some passes, see the rookie doing some stuff. So, and I do got to shout out Jimmy because he's been a professional for sure. Bench 2 years in a row, not a negative word said. He's getting a lot of money to do so, but a lot of people would
Oh
still be
man.
complaining and saying a little something in the background. And he's been nothing but gracious. So respect to him.
And Carter's been just as good a dude from New Orleans as Jimmy's been from Las Vegas. So
Oh
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
if
yeah.
anyone can,
No doubt. No doubt.
yeah, if he could feel anyone's pain. One thing that I would say about your coaching decision, and I know Glenn does not like to hear this, but they're not a team that's cash rich, and they have a lot of coaches on the books right now.
Yeah.
Assistant coach, and so it may make sense to give somebody who's not going to be the most expensive one, but at the same time, if what happens in Michigan, a Harbaugh comes around once in a while, do you stretch to bring him in and then not give Antonio Pierce that opportunity? And there's a cash flow question that's involved there,
I think the
independent of the coaching decision.
The money's gonna come in.
Yeah,
the money's coming in.
I looked at the game as kind of different. I mean, to me, the Raiders had a good rally around the new guy win against a team without a quarterback. That's how
definitely.
I looked at it.
Hey, Tommy DeVito is a legitimate NFL quarterback.
So if you ask me personally, I don't think he does enough. Pierce does enough to keep the job, because the last time the Raiders had an interim coach, they went 10-7. They made the playoffs, almost beat the Bengals in Cincinnati, who ended up going to Super Bowl that season, had off-field issues, and Rich Bisaccia still didn't get the job. The only way I could see Pierce getting this job, I could be wrong,
lesson learned,
because Brian made a good point to where they're already paying Gruden. They're going to be paying McDaniels. They might not have the deep pockets, but if the Harbaugh thing comes through, you probably got to get them. But I think the only way this changes
is if Harbaugh.
Yeah, the only thing I see it changing is if the Raiders have a deep playoff run. That's the only way I can see the Raiders actually keeping Pierce. And then because of what the Raiders did to the Giants, they have now joined the stick a fork in them club. Our season's over. They're officially tanking for either Caleb Williams or Drake May, whoever they might like, because they're starting Danny DeVito, who starred in a couple movies, and then they got Matt Barkley, who I didn't even know was still in the NFL. That's a USC quarterback you're familiar with. I didn't know he's still in the NFL. He's the backup now. So the Giants,
baby.
Yeah, the Giants are officially, which I picked them to be in last this year in their division. They're 2-7, so they're well on their way. And I think they could legitimately end up 2-15 with this team. Seriously. So they're trying to get a QB this upcoming season. So
they're paying a QB.
Yeah, they are. They paid the wrong. That's on them. But I'm sure. But they can still draft a quarterback, and it's going to be a rookie scale contract, so they'll be able to afford them. But
I don't know. I think the Raiders might get some wins. I think we got as time goes on. But look, no matter what, it's a hell of a lot more fun to watch football when there's a conversation around the Raiders that's not about how bad they are.
Oh, yeah.
And isn't Glenn being mad at us for not supporting them more?
Yeah, definitely.
There's it was fun to watch Antonio Pierce talk about the team. I'm not a Raider fan, but I was like, damn, yeah, let's put the swag out
Raider
there. Let's do this.
I mean, he grew up a Raider fan. I never heard a coach actually do the Raider chant. They're doing it in the interview. His energy's been great. I think he's taking advantage of the opportunity. Same thing any of us would do. If you get that doesn't come around all the time. I get to either way. He puts head coach of the Raiders on his resume as someone that grew up a Raider fan. Come on. That's great. So
if he gets,
I think we're going to surprise though.
Yeah, he gets 5 wins over the rest of the season.
We can. If you look
Five
at
wins. How many they got now?
Yeah.
How many got now?
Well, they've got 4 right now, but he's got one of them. So if they beat the Jets, let's say, if they beat the Chargers, the Colts, and the Broncos, that's 5. They still got the Vikings, which is a winnable game. They still have the Dolphins, which is winnable lately, not to say that, how that could go.
Yeah.
And they usually find some way to split with the Chiefs.
Somehow, could.
But just take 5 wins total, 4 more wins on the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Right, giving them 8 wins on the season.
So you think if he goes 8-9, 9-8, he keeps it?
I think that if he gets 5 wins over the rest of the season and Harbaugh stays at Michigan, he should.
So 5 wins, that'll be 9-8, right? I'm not looking at their record. I'm just assuming.
We're 4-5 right now.
Okay, so 9-8. Okay. All right.
Yeah, over 500.
We'll see.
Well, I mean, like Brian said, you
or
get
8 or 9, one of the either way. But I think he should get the opportunity. And the way that I see that working is a 3-year deal, not one of these 10 years.
That's just what I was going to say. Yep.
3-year deal, because you're going to give him next year, usually at least half of the next season before you decide. And it's probably not the kind of money that's going to be these, 10-year, $100 million contracts that they've been giving out like hotcakes.
$5 million.
That puts 160 million dollars on the payroll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Possible. I'm not saying they will. I'm saying should.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It's been better regardless. It's been cool. The energy's different. I'm going to the game in Miami next weekend, so my energy around the game is different. I was, regardless of what happens, because Miami still has a very prolific offense. Their defense is getting their players back. They can come up. The energy around the game is different. My energy, I was never expecting us to go in and beat this top offense at home, but the energy is just different. And I don't have to see McDaniels on the sideline looking dumbfounded the whole damn time, surprised at how the plays he's calling is not working when you're calling dumb plays. So I'm cool.
You talking about the coach of the Chargers? Oh, you're talking about the coach, Josh McDaniels. My bad. Okay,
like they said, man, that Charger Raiders game, they were saying it was gonna be the worst coach versus the worst coach, and whoever loses is fired. And it did work out that way. So Staley, I hope he stays forever.
You should. You really
fabulous.
Should. Yes.
I will say, they're on your stick of forking him, but he's been great for Herbert too, because he's taken any kind of blame from Herbert ever. No one can talk bad about Herbert because it all goes to Staley. So it's been very interesting. If he plays bad, we put it on Staley. So that's interesting to me. But what about these Vikings, B?
Well, look,
Josh Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs. So
throwing them Dobbs.
My phone was blowing up all game, nonstop, right? From Jaren Hall getting hurt to Josh Dobbs having his first 3 drives end in turnovers. And then obviously later when he succeeded and was making some pretty decent plays. Depending on when you asked me or reached out to me, I had very, very different points of view.
Yeah, we saw.
Because I flat out wanted, I think what my favorite thing that I was saying to people was they're like, I wish he had stayed on the return flight when he flew from Arizona. Like, he was awful to begin the game. Now, there's been context that's been given to all of that throughout the week, but how
didn't know
much he had
names.
to do, and he didn't know anyone's name.
What's your name? Addison. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, you go deep.
Had literally not been able to take snaps from the centers because they were trying so hard to get Jaren Hall, who was taking over for Kirk Cousins, ready. Right. And then he made decent passes. He used his feet. We won a game that we needed to win, and I think he played okay. I don't think he played great, but I think he showed that he can make plays. Now, it's easy to look at what happened in Arizona and whether you consider it a coincidence or not. The minute Connor went down, that Arizona team, which wasn't very good, became just downright abysmal. So, what he can bring to a team, I don't know. But I'm willing to wait and see. I have literally zero expectations at the point that the point that Cousins was done. JJ's injured. Osborne is now out with a concussion, most likely not being able to play this week. There's a lot of adversity to the team. So kind of forget it. Like, whatever. I'll watch football games. Am I going to root hard for this week's game because it's a huge game for the Vikings' possible, playoff chances playing New Orleans? Do I really hope they win that game?
DC, nice. Okay.
Yeah. And do I think they even have a chance? Even because I don't think very highly of the New Orleans Saints. I don't know if we're going to talk about that now or later, but this will be a very interesting game and has some importance. Unlike the Jason, just a random thought. Is tonight's Thursday night football game the worst Thursday night football game ever?
Oh, yes.
Thursday night football games, which are usually all horrible?
No, because the Broncos played the Colts last year. That was terrible.
That was I think this is worse.
Tonight, right?
Yeah, I saw it. That was so bad.
It's Tyson Bagent. Yeah, this is bad.
That was the worst. Just the only reason is because Russell Westbrook.
The Bears versus the Panthers. Yeah. They got 3 wins between them.
Yeah, both these teams got all kinds of problems.
I was wondering, do you guys think? And I guess he didn't have the game, but like when Baker came in and did what Dobbs did, it was ranting and raving, and people went nuts. And Dobbs had less time than Baker had. So
when Baker came in, they said he was going to start the game, and he had a couple days. He had taken snaps.
Right.
The whole focus of what the Vikings were doing that week was trying to get Jaren Hall, who did not look horrible in 4 passes and 1 drive. But anyways, trying to get Jaren Hall ready. And then it's like, hey, guy, you know the playbook? Yeah, I've heard of these plays before. I can go out there and throw a football.
Bro, I think what he did is more impressive than Baker's. I know he didn't play good, but Baker, I'm just saying that Baker got, oh, my God, he was the best, and he had 3 days, and how'd he do this? And he got here Tuesday, and he doesn't know everyone's names. What Dobbs did is crazy. Like you said, he's on the sidelines with the center, like getting used to the snaps before he goes in. Like this is like what you did. I thought was extremely impressive. Shaking hands, giving dap. Come on, exactly, bro. Like asking the offensive coordinator, like, what was your name again? Okay, all right, bro, let's do this. Yeah. I thought that was super impressive.
But like I said last week, he was thrown into a chaotic situation in Arizona. He'll be fine in Minnesota. He's going to be chaotic for him because he doesn't know anything.
To me, impressive. And
a
comeback win is a comeback win.
Yeah, it was very impressive.
Crazy.
Yes, it was impressive.
And the Vikings are not a good team. They have a horrible running game. And they've got JJ and now Osborne out. It'll be easy to understand if things don't work out, and I don't think it's his fault. I think that given what he's done, regardless of what they do with Cousins, I hope that they think about keeping him around as a backup quarterback. He's bounced around a lot over his career.
Sure.
But he's certainly earned some looks.
Definitely.
Him and Jaren Hall.
Major respect to that dude, man. I don't think he got enough pub for what he actually did, in my opinion, compared to Baker, because I was a part of the Baker madness, right? So I saw, and Baker actually, to his credit, I got to give him some. He's actually playing all right in Tampa. He's swaggy. He'll air it out. Like he can play, but he just got so much love, and this guy and the grit and how he could do this, and he got here for 3 days, and Dobbs does this, and they're like, well, he didn't play that great at first. Like,
well, I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks that get overly hyped. I understand that, but so does.
I'm fine with it. Just overly hype them all then.
I'm saying.
Let's overly hype Dobbs.
People are talking about Lamar's passing, and if you look at his career statistics compared to Baker, they're virtually identical. They're identical.
Here you go.
Lamar's not that great of a passer. They're identical, damn near to Baker. So it's like everybody gets a lot of hype, but Baker is overly hyped. Yes, I got that, but because he's, I guess Baker or whoever, and I would take Lamar any day of the week, including twice on Sundays over Baker. But
I don't even know how Lamar got involved in this. I think it's unfair, but
it's called a hype. You said it's hype. That's what people do. They hype. They're hyping his passing statistics, and they're about the same as Baker's. And Baker, we all know he's really not all that great of a quarterback. So
they did win some playoffs, but either way, the Browns did. They beat the Steelers.
He have one playoff win. So does Lamar. They both have one playoff win. They virtually have identical stats. One.
That's cool. Hey,
a lot of people get hyped.
Both are better than your quarterback. Let's talk about the Niners.
Let's talk about the Niners.
So, I'm just kidding, Brock. I'm messing with you. I'm just kidding.
So everybody wants to start.
Yeah.
Everybody wants. So look, I'm gonna start with my personal opinion, and then I'm gonna move on to some actual factual statistics that the media isn't telling you and people aren't telling you, but is actually true. Now, my personal opinion is I don't believe Purdy was 100% healthy before the bye. He had that concussion against the Minnesota game, and some way, somehow, he's the only player this season, the only player at quarterback to clear the concussion protocol within a week and start the next
true.
game. I don't know how that happened. He hit his head hard again against the Bengals and held his head, but he still stayed in the game. So people can talk about Purdy and his decision making, throwing the ball all they want, but they never said anything about his decision making before he took that hit against Minnesota. Before he took that hit. After the hit, now everybody wants to talk. Now, here's the truth. 49ers, they're 5-3, tied with the Seahawks. But the 49ers have a plus 78 point differential, and the Seahawks have a minus 4 point differential. So if people think Seattle's better than the 49ers, I don't think that's true. Brock Purdy leads the NFL in EPA per play, which is the most advanced metric in football, better than quarterback rating. But in just case people want to know his QBR, he's number 2 in the league behind Josh Allen.
What's he doing in East Palo Alto?
You hella funny. He's also number 1 in EPA success rating. So people think the NFL has him figured out, or he's not good, or he's terrible after he's a 10-3 starter. You're delusional because these stats don't prove that the NFL has figured him out yet. The 49ers offense, they're number 1 in DVOA, and that's without a running game the last 3 weeks. No Trent Williams, which is their best offensive lineman. No Debo. And a banged up Christian McCaffrey.
For anyone who doesn't know, what's DVOA?
Oh, so let me look it up. Let me get you the right thing. DVOA. It's an advanced metric, and what it stands for is defense adjusted value over average. Okay, it's to let you know who's the best teams in the league are, who the best quarterbacks are best, or whoever in their position are. It's an advanced metric. So they're number 1 in that. Now in football, I've always talked about this. There are solvable problems and there are unsolvable problems. The offense is number 1. The defense is number 15. It's clear where the issue is. The issue is the defense. The offense is solvable. They'll be fine. Even Richard Sherman on his podcast and Dante Whitner have called out Steve Wilks' coverages and schemes. Shanahan just criticized Steve Wilks publicly, which he never does to any of his assistants, for his cover 0 call at the end of the first half against Minnesota.
Well, he's going to criticize himself.
And the reason why Shanahan did this, from what I just found out 2 days ago, is because the players, from someone who definitely knows what's going on in the 49 organizations, because the players are starting to turn on Steve Wilks. They don't believe in him. They don't believe in his scheme. They don't believe in his coverages. And Kyle Shanahan is starting to lose faith in him. That's why he came out publicly and said what he said. So anybody that wants to put all the blame on Shanahan, that's fine. But the players know that Wilks is the issue. I don't know if him moving from the booth down to the sideline is going to help. And he made that decision after his defense performed even worse against the Bengals than they did against Minnesota. Just a couple things. He looks like a one-and-done defensive coordinator to me. I don't think he's going to be back next year. I saw that Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw are on pace to double their missed tackles from last year. The players are not in position that he's moved. Our strong safety, Hufanga from USC, was a beast at strong safety last year, has him playing more free safety, and has our free safety playing more strong safety. So it's kind of killed our back end and our blitz packages. But the 49ers are losing. They're playing poor defense. They are still favored against the Jaguars, knowing this. And, of course, I'm going to take the 49ers in this game because when everybody zigs, I zag. Everybody's low on the 49ers right now. Everybody has Jacksonville as this hyped-up team, even though they have the second worst sack rate in the NFL. They're led by their defense, not offense, because Trevor Lawrence has mediocre stats this year, especially in efficiency numbers. So I have the 49ers winning that game because the Jacksonville Jaguars can't run, and that's how you beat the 49ers, by running the ball. But I think it's too early to write off the 49ers as a team, I think it's just about time to almost
probably
write off.
Not 13.
Yeah. But what's happening with the team right now, Brian, is what I'm trying to tell you is this type of stuff, moving the defense coordinator, publicly calling out your defense coordinator, whatever, that stuff happens to teams drafting in the top 5 the following year. So there's obviously a problem with the 49ers right now. There's an issue going on. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to be solved.
Yeah, but I would agree with you that anyone who's is thinking about it's time to write them off. I do not like them.
I was going to say, Brian wrote them off the earliest.
Right.
No one wrote them off
long time ago. Right. From being a Super Bowl team, and just so I just want to make sure we're on the same page. They have the best DVOA in the NFC, not the best overall, because I would talk about the one team that has the best DVOA overall, which is Baltimore, so followed by KC and then San Francisco. But anyways, and we all know I like Baltimore a little too much. But anyways,
that's fair. That's
not a bad thing, though.
That was very honest, though, too.
Yeah,
but their DVOA is the best in the NFL right now, and their offense, which is outstanding, is being powered a lot by a very good defense on the other side. The same with KC. Anyways, But yeah, I think it is too soon to give up on them. You and I talked
Definitely.
about this last week, though. The schemes that Steve Wilkes have been putting through. There's a reason for all the talking. It's not gonna
exactly.
work.
Exactly.
And they got to find somebody who runs the 49ers football schemes. What they've done well. They need to continue doing that.
And what I found out was they couldn't fire him during the bye week because there's nobody on the staff that can take his place. So we got to keep him all year. And I don't even know if it's solvable, to be perfectly honest with you. If you can't,
they'll find somebody who wants to run a scheme that's focused on the line play.
No, next year. Next year.
Next
year, not this year. Yeah, it's not going to happen. So I don't know.
I told you already, man. They weren't winning a Super Bowl. This is no surprise. I told you.
but I don't want a bunch of busted coverages on the way to losing. I mean, just saying. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know. Am I optimistic about the 49ers? I'm neutral. I don't know. I just don't know. We'll have to see what happens. We got the Jags, got
Neutral's a good place to be.
Yeah, I'm neutral. Yeah. I don't know. Who knows? But that's my take. We'll see what happens after the bye week.
Who you got in that game, Brian? Jacksonville or Niners?
For this weekend?
Yeah.
I'll take the Niners.
I don't know what the line is. I didn't look.
2.5.
Yeah, I was looking at the
2.5.
And then Coop, who you got in New Orleans, Minnesota?
Ooh, where that game's playing at?
Minnesota.
So here's the thing, because I have a lot to say about this.
Yeah.
It is the Saints -3 at Minnesota.
You know what? I think this game is coming down to a last-second field goal. I would take Minnesota in the points. I would take Minnesota in the points +3, but it comes down to a last-second field goal.
Same answer, right? We win or lose games by less than 8 points. All but one game this season. The other thing is that I don't think the Saints are really good. I'm not saying the Vikings are, but when you shift a spread from 3 to 6 points, you usually get about 3 points when you're at home. And it's 3 the other way. That's a pretty big shift. I think all of that is based off of an overcorrection for Dobbs and Hall and Osborne and all of that unrest. The Vikings have shown that they can at least be competitive in most football games. And so if you gave me 3 points at home, I would take 3 points at home.
Yeah. Oh, you guys know Carson Wentz. You know Carson Wentz got signed by the Rams.
Yeah,
right?
went to the Rams.
Yep.
Sure did.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now, let me tell you one game I will bet. You guys might think I'm crazy, but I'm betting this game this weekend.
Give us the Peerless One Sports plug. Come on.
I'm taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Tennessee Titans, and here's why. Will Levis is dead last in the NFL in success rate when he's pressured. Dead last.
He's
and I think
2 weeks.
I know.
I think Todd Bowles is going to bring the kitchen at him, and I don't think Will Levis will survive it. I'm taking. It's -1 too.
I will say. I was going to ask you about this game. I will say Will Levis. I like him because he's doing exactly what I would do as a quarterback of the Titans. Throw the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. I'll just find D-Hop every time. That's what.
He's airing it out to him too.
Paid. Yeah, and it's working because D-Hop still one-on-one is going to get them catches. Yeah. Dude is crazy. Like, just throw it to D-Hop.
Let me tell you one thing I didn't know, though. Atlanta Falcons have a top 5 defense by success rate. I did not know their defense was that good.
Speaking of that, what's up with Bijan, man? They're talking about Arthur Smith and Bijan Robinson's not getting carries. Y'all heard anything about this?
Yeah. What you go over at, B? Talk about it.
Oh, it's just like there's a lot of talk that Bijan is not a little malcontent in the locker room, and this is kind of his punishment and his penance for a lot of talking. But yeah, going back to what you were just saying though, the Falcons defense has been legit. They have been a sleeper fantasy streaming team for me for a while now, at least 3-4 weeks.
No, I should pick them fools up this week against Arizona.
Oh, here's a good game. I want both of you guys to take on it. Houston versus the Bengals. Here's why I'm saying it. I think Jamar Chase is not playing. Their defense coordinator for the Bengals is the most unheralded defense coordinator in the NFL. He's very, very good, very underrated. Yeah. CJ Stroud has been playing particularly well, and the Bengals have the Ravens on Thursday. So it could be a look-ahead spot for the Bengals. Yeah. And they play on Thursday, so that's a short week to them. And Houston is going Cincinnati. So you tell me, what do you do? Do you think Houston pulls it off?
You have to beat the Ravens. It would be nice to win it both, but you have to beat the Ravens. You can't lose that game. And so if I lost the Houston game because we're close and beat the Ravens, it'd be more important to beat the Ravens to me. You can't think like that, but on a short week, it'd be one thing if it's Sunday to Sunday. Sunday to Thursday playing the Ravens, that's tough.
Yeah, the total. So I'm betting the under on this game. The total's 48. I don't think Cincinnati's going to be trying to blow them out because they're trying to get ready for the Ravens.
Yeah, I was
That's
gonna
how I
say
feel.
I'd take Texans and the points, but I think
Yeah.
Cincy will win it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
nice.
It's
6.5 points is a big spread.
Yeah, it's tough with that
That's-
look ahead game.
Hey, that boy CJ Stroud, man. That last game was crazy. Like I was watching the end of it. And that dude came back 40 seconds all the way down the field, threw very good passes, placed
been
the ball
playing
well. Bro could play.
You know how many interceptions he has this year, right?
One.
How many? One. Oh wow.
One.
Throwing that
Bro
much.
can play, man.
That's cool.
14 TDs, one touchdown.
Record,
14 touchdowns, one
and shout
one
out
interception.
Shout out D'Amico and their GM, man, putting that together and making those changes to get like what they did to get in the draft. Like respect, man.
I would say D'Amico and the offense coordinator too, because he's a first-time play caller, came from the Niners. Got to give them both props. I really want D'Amico to be successful. I really do.
Yeah.
He's a really good dude. So
it looked
good
like
for him.
And he had Joe balling. So yeah, major respect there.
So Jets and Raiders though, that's a 1-point spread too. I know you taking the Raiders, Glenn.
Yeah, I think the 1 point evening game. I think they're going to be still hyped. The Jets are a team you can beat. They're coming off a loss, but it's not like you have, Aaron Rodgers coming in, which they were hoping for initially when they set this game on the schedule. I know people are like, Jets, Raiders, why would I want to watch that? Because it was supposed to be Aaron Rodgers versus Devontae is why you were supposed to watch it. With Zach Wilson back there, shot out, he's trying to figure it out.
But they could have flexed that game out.
They didn't.
I'm just saying they could have.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's still, there's intrigue in it. You got the new coach. You got, Rodgers is going to still come back. He'll be there. He'll be throwing passes on the field. They'll show him dapping up Devontae. I think we win. I don't think it's a 30-point scoring game like last game. I think it's more like we were winning. It's 17-13. We got to scrap it out at the end type of deal. If they get 17, 14-10, something just low, close, and scary is what I think is going to be for me.
This game should have been Aaron Rodgers versus Jimmy G, both on new teams. Now we got Zach Wilson versus Aiden O'Connell.
Well, the first part I liked. The second part, no.
Raiders are going to win this game, and they're going to win it by more than a touchdown or more.
I think the sacks on this game is going to be high. I think the sacks, I would say over 8. They're going to be 8 or more sacks in this game. But I'm taking the Jets because they have the much better defense. The Jets secondary has forced Allen, Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, and Justin Herbert to pedestrian numbers against them. And the fact that the Raiders are third to last in rush defense success rate in the NFL, which means Zach Wilson throws less and more of cooking them. I'm going to take the Jets, and I'm taking the better defense
because you're also
Zach Wilson's that bad. He's going to throw.
He is bad.
In the wrong place, and they're going to capitalize on it, and that's going to be the difference.
He is bad. Yeah.
I like what Brian's saying. Plus, you're going off Josh McDaniels stats, not the new regime. So McDaniels is doing dumb-ish with a solid.
No. McDaniels doesn't do anything with the defense. He doesn't touch the defense. The defense is still 30th. So we'll see. We'll see.
The defense has played a bit better since he's been gone. As someone that watches every snap, I'll say that. But the last few weeks, we've been playing a bit better. They look at it.
Look, it's a night game. It's a big game. It's at home. There's a new swag.
They're going to be fired up.
Raider fans are not giving up their season tickets like they usually do.
Right. We're going up.
I think the Raiders win that game.
Love to see it.
Anybody care? Anybody care about last one? Green Bay and Steelers. Anybody care about that game?
Is that Monday night?
I don't think so. Is it?
I think it is. Monday is Broncos Bills.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh. Ugh.
Anybody care about Green Bay Steelers?
No.
No. Okay. I don't either. All right.
I like Mike. I like Mike Tomlin. I mean,
I was gonna say Mike Tomlin's cool.
I hear you. I'm with you on that.
I like. Rest in peace, Rico Harris. I don't know.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm cool.
All right. Moving on.
You know what? I'm going down here, and there's not a whole lot of matchups. I do think the Browns-Ravens game is going to be better than what
forgot about that one.
Because that's two really good defenses and teams that have been playing pretty well. That's a 5-3
division
team, 7-2 team.
Yeah, I'm taking the Browns.
Favored by 6.5 points.
Yeah,
I think the Ravens definitely win this game. I think that that spread is a little bit too big. That said, I'm just riding with the Ravens.
Yeah, I hear
minus the 6.5.
I don't want to do it, and I would not bet the game because the number's so big. If I were to pick them, and I had to pick one of these two, I would take Baltimore and give up the 6.5 because I think Baltimore is a really, really good team and is rounding out into a deep.
Yeah, I could see 24,
this is what we'll do. This is what we do. I'm gonna take Cleveland plus 6.5. You have Ravens minus 6.5. Whoever loses, we'll start the next podcast with a shot. Whoever loses.
Done.
All right.
Okay.
There it is. We got a shot.
All right, remind me because I'll drink with the loser just for
Just to do it.
host type situations.
Done.
Good.
Okay. Cool, man. Anything else y'all want, NFL or anything else sports wise?
I'm good.
Let's wrap it up, man. Hella hogwash. And I looked this up, man, because I was curious, like, what is hogwash? And it started, it's like, I want to say from the 14th century. So wash or swill is what they would give to the hogs because hogs will eat anything at that time, right? So you call it the wash or the swill. It's just it's the scraps. It's the rest of it. So that's what hogwash is. So I don't know. I looked it up. That's our little factoid for the day.
And now
so,
the new literal meaning is lies or nonsense or
it's rubbish either way, right?
Yeah.
So that's
it's
where you're at. So
poppycock.
yeah, well, okay. That could be that could be the
Break
new
up my
like
thesaurus.
yeah. I like it. What's so hella hogwash for this weekend or this week? What's a bunch of hogwash? B, it was your segment, man. You started off.
Yep.
I don't want to sound like a broken record on the refs, but the refs have continued to be absolutely horrible.
If they
so
bad,
I'll
they
tell
bad.
you this. You know what's hogwash? These Thursday night matchups. Why did they think when they were planning the Thursday night game that there was some reason why the Panthers and the Bears would be good enough to put on primetime television?
Give me that.
Hype.
Is there a situation in which they could have thought that the Panthers were going to be 7-1 or 6-2, instead of 1-7, or the Bears were going to be anything better than what they are, even if they were 1 win, 2 wins different? Would it make this game any better? Why in the world did they think this was a game anyone wanted to watch? It's not like the teams have history. And it is a bunch of hogwash that they keep on putting this garbage on primetime television and just expect people to watch it because why not? And they got to stop doing this, man. It's disrespectful to the fan.
Amazon.
Oh man, my hogwash is the Miami Hurricanes. And Tyler Van Dyke. They put up 6 points against the North Carolina State Wolfpack. Playing against a quarterback that was 11 for 21 with 123 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. You say, oh, wow, that's pedestrian. Well, our quarterback, Tyler Van Dyke, who people want to seem to hype up as a first-round NFL talent, though he's not, he was 21 of 38 for 173 yards and 3 interceptions. I've noticed with Van Dyke, if you touch him up a little bit, he's not the same quarterback. He doesn't like to get hit. And in NFL, you're going to get hit. So I don't see much success I don't even know if he's even going to make the NFL, but we got to do better. We've hired all these people, spent all this money, and this is just unacceptable for the type of budget the University of Miami has. I've always said this. There's no excuse for Miami or USC to be bad in football. There's no excuse. There's too many resources, too much talent locally, and you can't have 6 points and don't score in the second half against North Carolina State. You just can't. So I don't know what Cristobal is going to do, but something needs to happen. So the Miami Hurricanes and Tyler Van Dyke, they're hogwash.
Fair.
Can't do it.
I didn't really have one, but I think I'm gonna go back to what y'all said earlier, man. I'm gonna go with them NBA in-season tourney courts. I'm gonna give that's a bit of hogwash, man. I think just because you could have, if you can do anything, which you could, right? It's a whole new thing. You could design it any way you want. You could have done LED floors, which I've seen, which are crazy. You could have you could have done rubber bumper on the edge. You could have done anything, and you went like color rush, just dump every primary color on the ground and see what happens. And I don't know. I wonder about the players too, because it feels like it'd be kind of interesting to dribble off of it and play on it and how it looks. But it's kind of, I get selling jerseys and all that, but I think they failed.
I wonder if they will look at advanced stats and see if people are shooting worse when they have to look down at the bright score.
I'm like, what does it do? The fans, like, if you're at the top of the stadium looking down, does it look better? Like, there was some
jerseys are going to blend in from the cheap seats. That's what I would think.
Someone's
a red, all red court with the Bulls jerseys. Like,
man,
is that a dude? Which dude is it?
Yeah, what's going on? And the cold part is cheap seats now are still expensive. So I don't know who decided, give the fans something. Yeah. It doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't translate well on TV. I'll put it like that.
They're just starting. Hopefully they'll adjust. The one thing I'd give the NBA is they try something, it doesn't work, they move. They've had new pivot. Balls. They got rid of that right in the middle of the season.
Yep.
Anyways, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
For sure. So that's that. Minute to win it. Last segment. Happy birthday, Coop, is all I got. Thanks everybody for listening.
For me, I'm just gonna say nothing. I don't have anything. Thank you guys for listening. I don't have anything. Appreciate Brian and Glenn, both of you doing this show with me every single week.
Pleasure, man.
Putting up with what I say, rolling your eyes, laughing, everything that you guys do. I appreciate it. Appreciate everybody who listens. I think we got a few new subscribers too. So I want to thank all of you that's been rocking with us even for 1 week or 5 years. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Definitely.
Yeah. First of all, most importantly, Jason, happy birthday. Hope you had a great one. And then the only thing I'll say is I'm real proud of Kentucky, Ohio, and I'm forgetting one. Kentucky, Ohio, and Virginia, who all did great things in the elections recently, protecting abortion rights, and one even put in a constitutional amendment in Ohio. Big deal. It shows exactly what people are going to be voting on in 24, and I think was a very valuable preview that people can make a difference in states that they might otherwise not have been able to.
Definitely. Well said. Yep. Well said. Thank you all for listening. Hi, Mom. We'll catch y'all next time. Check us out on Sports Counterpoints podcast. Peace.